Y'all ready for some more artist appreciation? I know you're probably thinking, dang, you just did one not too long ago. You doing another one so soon? That's new. I haven't seen that since you did that whole week of artist appreciation. And you're right, and I probably won't do something like that anytime soon. But when it comes down to it though, I am doing this one solely because there was a tweet of the artist that I saw that they basically posted, or at least they pointed out, that on Road to the Ford, their work is AI assisted and AI generated, and people believe that their work, or could believe that their work, is AI generated and AI assisted, when that's really not the case, essentially. And today's artist that we're going to talk about is Z Art. But not only are we going to talk about Z Art, we're also going to cover D Art as well, solely because, and while we did cover them in the past before, we're going to cover them again because if you've been on Road to the Ford, and if you have seen their work on there, you know there's also works that they have never did. There's works of different characters that obviously does not really belong to them because it's AI generated. They never really did it, right? And it's a mixed bag between their work and other people generating stuff that looks like their work. And I want to point out certain things about it, of how you can tell, you know, Z Art is actually a genuine artist, and obviously we know D Art is, but when it comes down to it, and I also want to bring up a point that I feel like a lot of people maybe not really thought about when it comes down to who's faking it and who's not faking it, because ultimately there is a way to tell, and I didn't really think about this until I really focused in. But since this is an artist appreciation series, I mean, it'll be kind of stupid of me to not necessarily figure out exactly what is the difference between the AI generated animated work, or just anime work, versus actual human talent. First of all, I want to describe Z Art's work when it comes down to it at first, because ultimately when you first see it, and then obviously you know who D Art is, and you obviously compare the two. Now hold on a second, why that look a little too familiar? Why that look a little too good, right? Because immediately, even I will definitely admit that, yeah, I thought it was assisted in some shape or form, or I thought it was generated too, because I'm like, how did someone master D Art's style, or at least did it so damn well that it basically feels one-to-one with their work? That feels strange, something ain't right here. But then as they kind of go on and, you know, continue to grow their talents, we can clearly see, oh, it's actually their own stuff. They are just very, 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 very inspired by D Art in their work. And again, it's not hard to see why not. He does good damn work, and let's just keep it very much a stack. Because I'll keep it honest with you, even though somebody's work can look very similar to another, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, that's them to a T. That's actually, you know, generated in some shape or form. Because as an artist myself, and the little I have copied of other people's work, when it comes down to exact images, even I could do that, right? I've done that once with Oda-chan, and it was like, you know, this art style and how they draw on her and all that sort of stuff. I can copy that too, and I've done it before. I don't know if I have the image on my laptop or whatever so I can show you, but I have technically done it before, and it's not really all that damn hard, and it looks official too. So when it comes down to it, is it impossible to copy an art style without using a computer? No, it's not impossible. You can absolutely do it. It's for sure a thing people have done for a long period of time. I mean, hell, look at the animation scene and how people draw those different Dragon Ball characters and how they fight all the time, and you can just clearly see, yeah, they can very much animate very similarly to the actual show. And somebody might easily sit here and say, well, that still doesn't change the fact that it could be generated, right? Because how can you tell? Like, look at this drawing and then look at this drawing. They clearly feel one-to-one. And you could say that if you didn't really look closer at the picture. What I basically have done with this case is basically look at a lot of Z Art's work, look at it very effing closely as possible as I can, and really look around the image and see if there's any errors, if there's anything that is obviously like just straight up missing and whatever. And overall, looking at a few pictures of their work, it looks like if there's any error, it's just human error. That's just how it is, right? Whether it is some of the eyes that, you know, have the highlights in them that kind of looks a little, you know, off in certain ways and not necessarily perfect. There is also like certain lines that kind of just somewhat doesn't feel completely completes to the absolute degree. There's also stray lines in some of the other works as well that exist there if you have to really look closely at it. Like, there's flaws in that work. AI can also have flaws too, but the problem with AI and what the problem with AI versus, Z art is that when it comes to Z art, his flaws isn't really nearly as noticeable as AI would do. Like, when you generate something in AI, we already know, if it's not assisted, it's gonna have like something there that's obvious that you can see that isn't really good, like highlights in someone's eye, for example. When it comes down to someone like Z art, yeah, you can see that highlights are pretty consistent, but then when it comes down to something that's AI generated, it's really not that much so, right? And then there's other areas where you can look at it too in just different cases, and you can go piece by piece and figure that out for yourself. But you want to also know what is basically a key sort of giveaway for why a lot of this stuff don't really work in the favor of Roller the 4 and how they kind of, would possibly shit on his work. It's because the bit rates, like the actual low resolution of the image itself. All the AI generated stuff when it comes down to D-Art's work and, Z art as well, they're all basically like low res as shit, right? That's just genuinely how it is. Naturally, when it comes down to a lot of these different, anime generators, when it comes to AI, they're low res as hell. Even if you generate it yourself, find whatever site you can, they're basically low res as shit. That's just how it is. They just give you the general idea of what things look like, but then they don't really give you that high resolution sort of feel. Now, can they possibly do it? Maybe. If there is, I haven't seen it. But when it comes down to these particular artists in question, that's what they're copying, and essentially the image that you see on Road to 4 is low res as hell, where their images are obviously really clean. We can see a lot of details. We can go into the lines and actually see what the hell is going on. And even if you think, oh yeah, there's some errors here in the drawing, it's most likely human error when it comes down to it. I really don't think it's generated errors or anything like that. It's just complete human error if that is the damn case, right? If you want to see something like an AI assistant and stuff like that, artists do exist out there for that. They definitely do use it in some shape or form, but ultimately, in the case of Z art and D art, they don't generate shit. They just don't. They are really damn good at what they do, and they're just naturally talented. And what sucks about the situation too is just the fact that because people can easily generate styles now as well, it's easy for any artist to come through that is new now, that isn't known, and they can easily sit here and say, yeah, your work is generated, you're a fraud, you're a fake, you're a bitch, and all that sort of stuff. And then easily, not necessarily know the truth that they actually do draw, because they actually can back it up with their work and whatever. And it's only certain people that's out here generating stuff, and then they see that and then think that's what the artist does, and that's not really how it works. And shit like this is just, again, really frustrating. And it's like, bro, how do you not think for 5 seconds that if you did your research, you think this is AI generated? It's just so weird. It's like if you straight up call a magician weak as hell because they look frail as shit, like Merlin the Wizard or some shit like that. Like, he can whoop your ass. I am Merlin the Wizard. I brought Excalibur out the stone. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. I got a Glock of the wand on you. Like, you can't. Like, genuinely, you can't sit here and just call him a fraud because he looked trash. Like, he will whoop your ass. Like, that's just how it is. He can back it up. And the same thing here for Z art and D art. And by the way, can we just talk about the good shit that Z art just absolutely know how to throw down with? Like, I ain't gonna sit here and lie. Hyoko needs a pounding, right? 5 times over. Plenty of characters of how they draw needs a pounding 5 times over, right? That's just genuinely how it is. But just overall though, literally the art is just good. It is just peak niceness. It just know how to slap, even with things like Chainsaw Man, stuff I have literally no knowledge of whatsoever, and it still look mad good. Like, I don't know anything about Nayuta like that. I know the character name. I know that she has 2 different variations of her, I guess. But when it comes down to it though, yeah, sure, I'll clap. Why not? I'll do what Denji can't do. Because why not? But ultimately, still overall, it's just some good ass works. We lacking in some Sage content though, for sure. That's the one thing I think I'm noticing. We are lacking Sage out here, so we might need to have that in the future. If the day ever comes where I suppose I could commission, that would be the damn day. But This house is also getting on my damn nerves too with this damn mortgage, and I might not ever get the damn chance to effing do it with this piece of shit ass company. Gofundme and Kofi is in the description. Thank you very much. But that's really, I guess, all I really want to say for this one. People do need to realize that, yeah, you should look at the original source of works of that artist in particular before you go out your way to say, oh, it is AI generated, or a lot of their work is, you know, just that and whatever when it comes down to it. Like, taking someone's work and generating it and doing a style on it and taking their style and doing that, like, that's very much different than, you know, obviously the person's work entirely, right? Because plenty of people draw a lot, plenty of people generate their work into AI for their own, you know, personal gain or whatever, and essentially that's just how it is. And I feel like we need to remember, yeah, somebody could have a style very close to another person. Somebody can very much draw very well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's AI generated. Look at their work, actually look at it instead of just goon off to it, right? Inspect the different details, and then you will clearly see, oh yeah, it's AI generated or it's actual human talent. And in Z-Art's case, in D-Art's case, which didn't even need to make a case for, essentially, yeah, it's real human talent. You're getting real, authentic human work when it comes down to it, and that's something that's far better than what AI could ever honestly do, because that human talent, that soul is behind that work, and that's just genuinely the real sauce and power that AI could never really have. But that's essentially all I gotta really say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, sign off. Have a blessed day.